Hello there viewers, and welcome back to another video today here on Gran Turismo Sports. So today you join us for rounds 3 and 4 of the Club 100 GT series, and we are here today in the Red Bull Junior X 2014 car at Spa in the wet, which is a track which you will have seen just yesterday in yesterday's video. So we're back here again. Yeah, I'm not complaining, quite like Spa in the wet to be honest, and this Red Bull X 2014 Junior thing, don't know what it's called, it's quite interesting in the wet. I absolutely loved this combination. This is like instantly one of my favourite combinations. Haven't done this combination before, but yeah, love this to pieces. First up of practice that I did, I had a massive smile on my face. This car is almost like it's got a wet setup on it by default. It's really weird, and the go-karts, by the way, are the same. Both the go-karts and this car in dry are death traps, but in the wet they just come alive. It's like I say, it's like they've got a wet setup on them. They've got so much front end grip, got such a pointy front end, and a bit of a wayward rear end, which is what you would do in real life if you were setting a car up for the wet. So yeah, these cars, massive amount of fun. Moving ahead to our qualifying lap, going to be braking for La Source just after the 100 metre board on the left. Then getting the rotation through La Source is vitally important. This car got some really weird handling, like I say, because it's got a wet setup on it, and you can get mad amounts of rotation through the corners. You can gain so much time by chucking it in through the corners. Eau Rouge is flat out, which, you know, considering it's wet, it's quite a surprise to be honest. In a Group 3 you have to brake hard for this corner, but no, in the wet you could just about take it flat out, and well, it's easy to lose control of the car as you go over the brow of the hill there, as you go over radial. Very easy to lose the back end, especially as you go over the curb, but no, managed to keep it under control there. Now heading down the Camel straight, braking for Lecom. You've got the 100 metre board on the left hand side, so braking just after the 100 metre board, and then you want to back it in to Lecom. Managed to take that quite well, and then ease it through Lecom. Got to be really careful not to lose the back end through there, not to get too aggressive on the power, and then easing it through Malmedy. Did lose the back end slightly there on the apex, so that is going to lose us a couple of attempts. Braking now for Brussels. You got the board on the left hand side, got a big white board. You can use that as a braking reference, braking just before the start of the curve as well on the left hand side. And then you've got X curve here, braking, there's a marking on the curve which you can use as a reference, and a flag as well, like a light marshal post that you can use for reference. Braking for the 50 metre board at Pouon here, so braking just after the 50 metre board, and you want to ease in. Didn't carry enough speed through here to be honest. As you can see, nowhere near the exit curve. Should have carried a lot more speed into there. That's something I realised over the course of the race. And then coming down into Fania, braking just before the 50 metre board on the left hand side, and you can do some crazy drifts through here. You want to be backing it into that corner there and doing this like really cool 4-wheel drift. It's something I learnt to do during the course of the race. Really good fun, that corner. Braking for Stavolo 1 just before the curb starts on the left hand side, as we do actually give it a little bit too much into that corner there. Lost the back end there, so that has lost us time. And then coming through Stavolo 2, you want to be careful not to lose the back end. If you're too aggressive with the throttle, you will get spat off into the wall, so you've got to be careful through Stavolo 2. Didn't carry a great amount of speed through there to be honest, but it wasn't too bad either. Coming in to Blanchimont, you can take this flat out, but damn, you've got to be brave, as well, we managed to nail it on that lap, but it's so easy to get oversteer through there. You've got to be really careful. Then braking for the bus stop chicane just after the 150 metre boards, then backing it into the bus stop. We've gone a little bit deep there, missed the apex slightly, but yeah, taking it not too bad. Getting on the power now out of the bus stop as we come up to the start finish line. We're in 7th at the moment. Where are we going to go? We're going to go into P4. So not too bad then. Qualifying up to then hadn't gone too well. Like I say, we were down in 7th place, but managed to do a decent lap there. Ended up being P5, as I think Alfa Romeo Silver Arrow I think jumped us at the end there, but not too bad at qualifying. Unfortunately, there's only 9 of us today. Bit of a mass exodus has happened to be honest. We've had Super GT and Marky Boy have both dropped out of the league, so they won't be racing in the league again, and I think we also had a couple of people who couldn't make it this week, so bit of a low attendance. Good news is though, still a lot of good drivers in this. We've still got people like VQS Nathan, you've got Ryan Sandel in this, you've still got Tim Clark, you've got Kirif Kart Trevisio, still some really good A+ rated drivers, so it's not the end of the world. moving ahead to the race itself, like I say, starting in P5 with a grid start in the wet. And I mean, grid starts in the wet, they're a bit comical to be honest. When you put your foot down and nothing really happens, as you're about to see. The source will hopefully be clean. I mean, there's only 9 of us, so we should theoretically be able to get through that without too much carnage. But as the lights come on here, put the traction control onto one, and we've got 5 lights now, and away we go. Car doesn't really move off the line here, as the traction control very much has to kick in to stop the wheel spin. And now heading up to the source, going to brake just before the 50-meter board on the left hand side, and slamming on the brakes here. We did brake a little bit too early, to be honest, and Kira's car, he's mugged us off there around the outside. He very much outbraked us, swooped around the outside. We should have braked a little bit later there, to be honest, was a little bit too cautious. Heading down to a Rouge now, we are in the dirty air, so this is going to be sketchy. Might not be able to take this flat out, so throwing it in to Radeon, just going to lift off ever so slightly just to make sure we don't get a track limit penalty. But Tim Clark, by the looks of things, had a bad exit coming out of Radeon, and we've got the run now on the pack in front of us. And as we dive to the right, we're going to go flying past the lot of them, as we are now up into P3 with a sensational move. I was in 6th place there as I came out of Radeon, but now up into P3 side by side with Tim Clark through Lecom, and we have managed to get the position. So into 3rd place. Was really happy with that at the time. We did also get a bump jar from Jack Cameron Drayton, so thank you for that. Basically, I came out of Radeon in 6th place, expecting maybe to slipstream past one person down the Kenwood Straight. Was just met with a sea of spray and cars, dived to the right and just flew past everybody. So into 3rd then, really happy with that. Now this race, didn't do all that much practice, to be honest. I've got other stuff going on in my life, to be honest, at the moment. So as a result, only did 10 laps of practice. We're going to be learning on the fly, kind of, as we go along here. It's going to be very much learning as we go along. Only did about 5 minutes of warm-up as well before qualifying. That's why the qualifying wasn't very good. We didn't really do any good laps. It's because we were kind of just getting warmed up as qualifying progressed. Behind us we have Tim Clark, who in practice was absolutely phenomenal. He was doing like low 2-minute 40s in practice, so definitely need to keep track of him. He is right behind us. Good news is though, in these Red Bulls there is a lot of dirty air, so although yes you have the slipstream down the straights and he will catch us on the straights, you've also got a lot of dirty air, so he's going to have a lack of downforce through the corners, so that is going to help us pull away, especially in these wet conditions. Downforce is critical, so that is going to be helpful. Unfortunately, due to us starting down in 6th, we are quite a way off the leaders. We're already 3 seconds behind Ryan and Nathan up ahead, so not really any chance of us taking the win. Ryan and Nathan are relentlessly good drivers. We're going to have a real struggle on our hands to catch those guys up. And heading down into the bus stop chicane now, we've got Tim Clark on our radar. Is he going to go for a move? No, he is not. He's just about going to not go for the move there. He was very close to us, pretty much on our back bumper going in to the bus stop chicane there, but we managed to fend him off. And well, as we move ahead to the final lap of the race here, we're in 3rd place and we've actually managed to pull away from the guys behind. I was really happy with my drive in this race. Managed to put some really good lap times in. If you have a look at the lap times on the right hand side, doing consistent 2-minute 40s, really chuffed with that, and in fact we were only 1/10 away from getting the fastest lap of the race. So really happy with that indeed. Now this race was my first race using the new Elgato which I've got, that's why this video is in 1080p. But the problem was, as we head through Puan here, is, well, basically I don't know what happened. I think my PC crashed or something happened with the Elgato. End result being that as we make our way into the fan chicane here, my Elgato cut out, so I lost all screen. So I've had to press pause here so that I don't go flying off the circuit. I can't see where I'm going right now. Now I've unpaused the game and I've now got Tim Clark right behind me. So this has been a huge issue here. I'm absolutely fuming at this point in time. I've just had 5 seconds of no screen on this final lap of the race here. I was just bringing it home casually. Now have had no picture. Now all of a sudden I'm having to get my foot down. I've got Tim Clark right behind me as we make our way down the back straight here, down Paul Frere. He's in my slipstream heading down to the bus stop, so looking behind here, this is getting really sketchy. I'm fuming right now. We've got Tim, he's less than 2/10 behind us as we head through Blanchemont. Is he going to send one up the inside into the bus stop chicane? I would if I was in his shoes. And then going to break now up the 150 board. Is he going to send it? No, he is not. So Tim, he's a very sensible driver, very cautious, sensible driver, and well, if I was in his shoes, I probably would have gone up the inside there. I probably would have launched up the inside, but no, Tim is going to stay behind us. So as we come across the start finish line here, we're just about going to keep hold of our P3. I was yeah, well, when that screen blacked out, not only was I fuming, but I was so scared as well about losing both third and fourth place, because we had two cars right behind us. Just about managed to hold on to third there. After this, I very much stopped using the Elgato. I have not used it since, or I've tried it since, but yeah, haven't used it for any actual proper races since then. So yeah, just about managed to hold on to P3 then in this race. Good for the championship, because the top 3 points, they're quite good. You get a big reward for finishing in the top 3. There's a big drop in points beneath the top 3. So yeah, it's good for the championship standings. Moving ahead to round 4. This is the Group 4 race, and we are at Interlagos, as you can see on screen. Now, like the Spa race that we've just done, didn't do much practice for this. Only did at most 10 laps. Just didn't have time for much practice, to be honest. So things, not expecting things to go too well here, to be honest. I'm not expecting much. Interlagos as well is a track that I'm not historically particularly strong around. So moving ahead then to the race start. We are starting in P7, courtesy of our third place in the previous race. So remember, this is a reverse grid race, so we're starting in third to last, because we finished third in race 1. In the Renault Megane, like we were at Suzuka. Now, Renault Megane, great through the corners, great through the infield section, awful on the straights. So we're going to have to put up with a lack of straight line speed in this race. And as the 5 lights go out, going to get a good launch. This Megane is good off the line, and Kirov in front of us, who started on pole, is going to sink like a sack of spuds. Heading down to turn 1, are we going to be able to hang it round the outside? We were thinking about going round the outside of Silverado in front of us, but no, going to tuck in behind, and it's all a little bit argy-bargy as we go through the centre S here. Yeah, had to get our elbows out a bit there. It's always a bit clumsy through those first few corners at Interlagos, because it is a chicane. Going down the back straight now, down the Retroposta, we're down to P7. We did kind of get screwed over a bit through the centre S. As we make our way now into the Descida del Lago, just had a little bit of a bump in the side by Nathan. I think Nathan went a little bit hot there into the Descida del Lago, made a bit of contact with us. We're now down to 8th place. We are sinking here. This is not going well. Can we get up the inside of Tim Clark into the Ferrari Dura? Yes, we can. Now, what are we going to be able to get back past Nathan? Looking up his inside into the hairpin head. No, we cannot get past him. Going to stay behind him now. You've got Nathan side by side with Kirikart in front of us. Can we capitalise on these two here as they go side by side? No, we cannot, as Nathan instead tucks in behind Kirikart, and yeah, now settled down in P7. We've all settled in, all single file. Yeah, bit of a messy start there, yo-yoing from positions, got a good start, then went down to 8th, now back up into P7. We've now got Ryan Sander behind us, so we're in between the two championship challenges then, the two championship charges, as we come to the end of the first lap. Now, strategy for this race, it's an easy one stop. Yeah, you just stop halfway through the race basically, and you can go flat out as well. Don't need to worry about fuel. As long as you fill the tank in the stop, you'll get to the end of the race, no problem. As we've actually got Ryan behind us now, heading down to turn 1. Is he going to go for a move on us? It's going to be an audacious move if he tries to go for it. Yes, he is. So he's up our inside slightly there, as he actually makes a bit of contact with the back of our car there. So that was a bit of a rough move there from Ryan, and we are going to stay in front of him, and that has actually lost us time to Nathan in front. So we're going to have to try and, well, get a few good corners under our belt here through this infield section to make sure that we don't lose the slipstream to Nathan in front of us. We've got Ryan. Is he going to go for a move into the Descida del Lago? No, he's not. He did look to go for it there, but no, stayed behind us. And now moving ahead to the end of lap 2, we've got Ryan behind us once more as we make our way down the start finish straight in the slipstream of Nathan. We did manage to catch him back up through the infield section, but heading now down into turn 1, Nathan, no, we've got Ryan, sorry, he's going to go up our inside then. He's going to slot it up our inside, much cleaner move than the previous lap, and yeah, make his way up then into P7, as actually Trevor in front of us, Trevor Randall, just pulled over to the right, moved out of the way. Not quite sure why, to be honest. He just seemed to bail out of it there, just wave everybody past, but oh well. Into 7th place then, we've got Tim Clark behind us. Is he going to overtake us as well? Not quite into the Descida del Lago. Just thought better of it, decided to stay behind us, but we're really not doing very well here, losing a lot of time on the straights. Moving ahead to the end of lap 4, got the cars in front of us, we've got them battling. So we've got Nathan in front battling with Callum Brawl, who's fallen back into the pack, and got Ryan in front as well, trying to make his way up the inside of Callum. And it's all getting a little bit argy-bargy here, as you now got Ryan and Callum side by side as we make our way up to the Ferrera Dura, and we've got Tim Clark behind us too. So we're in the middle of the pack here, going into the Ferrera Dura. Going to be a bit of contact there, well, a lot of contact there between Callum and Ryan as well. Callum just shoves Ryan off the circuit, and we're going to make our way up the inside of Callum Brawl then into the SA. Going to make the move stick on him, so up into 5th place, then capitalised on the battling in front of us. Also got Nathan in front of us with a 1 second penalty. Nathan, he wasn't driving too well, to be honest, in this race or in the race prior. I'm not quite sure why. He didn't seem to be at the races today. He's got a penalty and he's not driving too great. Moving ahead then, another 2 laps. Unfortunately, Nathan did pull away from us. Our lack of shot lane speed was shocking. On the straights, we just had no chance, and we weren't driving too well either. Through the infield section, we were not making the most of this car, and as we make our way out of the Tesila de Lago, didn't take that well at all. Missed our apex and ran wide, so we've now got Ryan alongside us, coming back past after that bit of contact with Callum. And Ryan, he's got back ahead of us then. He's taken 5th place of us, as we have a little bit of a bump there through Larahangina, I think is how you say that corner's name. Now up is inside. No one was driving too well, to be honest, in this race. Not only was I not driving very well, we also had Ryan making quite a few mistakes, Nathan making a lot of mistakes too. We all seem to be driving a little bit ratty here, as we've now also got Tim Clark behind us. We have on a number of occasions Tim could have got past us, but no, he decided to stay behind us in this race and fuel save. And now, as we move ahead to the pit stop window, still in 6th place, in the middle of Ryan and Tim. We were doing a bit of fuel saving, but not too much, to be honest. And this car, this Renault Megane, is not good at fuel saving. It's not good at short shifting. It loses a lot of time when you short shift. So making our way into the pits then, we're going to put a new set of soft tyres on, and well, we've only got 12% of a tank remaining. And if you compare that to the guys on the left hand side, well, we've got Cameron Jayton got 26% of a tank, Silver Arrow's got 20% of a tank, Kirif Kart's got 19%, and we've only got 13%. So not looking great here on fuel. Like I say, this Renault Megane, you can't really short shift, because if you do, you lose so much straight line speed. It's just got a really untorquey engine, if that's such a thing. So yeah, filling the tank up now. Gonna, well, don't need to fill the tank, because you can go flat out for the second half of this race and not need 100% of a tank. So we're going to put 88% of a tank in. To be honest, I didn't really know how much fuel to put in. I just kind of chucked an amount in. Because this is a timed race, not a lapped race, I didn't actually know how many laps this race was going to be. I knew it was going to be 18 or 19 laps, but didn't actually know. And also, because it's a timed race, that diamond on the top of the fuel gauge when you're refueling the car, it wasn't there, because the game doesn't know how many laps you got left. So I didn't really know how much fuel to put in. And now, well, moving ahead another lap, it's time for the leaders to pit. So Nathan, Tim and Ryan stayed out for another lap, and then yeah, decided to try and do the overcut on people. And well, just have a look at Tim's fuel as he's pulled into the pits now. He's still got 22% of a tank left. So bearing in mind, he's pitted a lap after us and still has 10% more than we had. Yeah, Tim did a superb job on fuel, as did Nathan and Ryan. They both did a good job of fuel saving too. So yeah, we can wave goodbye to beating those guys, to be honest. They're going to jump us considerably in the pit stops here. We've got no chance of beating them. Our rival now is Kirif. So we've got Kirif in front of us. He did actually overfill his car when he pitted. He put a little bit too much fuel in. He actually filled the tank. So we're going to have to try and hunt him down here. He's in the Audi TT, which is a really strong car, very, very fast Kirif's car, but really bad on tyres. His front tyres are going to wear out considerably over the course of this second stint. So that is something to keep an eye out. As well, the guys coming out of the pit lane, as you can see up ahead, we've got those guys who we were with earlier on in the race. They've exited the pit miles ahead of us, so they've completely done us on strategy here on fuel. Moving ahead to lap 12, we really weren't driving well in this second half of the race, and well, we've got Kirif 2 seconds in front of us there. Just made a mistake as well as we make our way out of the Pinhen Arena. know. So yeah, really losing a lot of time. And now moving ahead a couple more laps to lap 14. We've picked ourselves up a penalty in the process of these last couple of laps. We ran wide coming out of the centre S, so we've got a half-second penalty. And well, we just had a check on the fuel there, and it's not looking good. We've only got 4.3 laps of fuel left, and we're only at the start of this lap with pretty much 5 laps to go. So we're going to have to fuel save here, as well as trying to have to catch Kirith up. But good news, as we move ahead to lap 17, we did indeed manage to catch Kirith up. We managed to reel him in. So we managed to get that gap down from 2.2 seconds to, as we now come down the start finish straight, well, less than 3/4 of a second as well. We were briefly in the slipstream range of Kirith there. Problem is though, this car is so slow in the straights that even when you're in the slipstream of somebody like Kirith Kart, he still pulls away from you. That Audi TT is so quick on the straights that even in the slipstream range, it still pulls away from us. Entering the last lap now, we did short shift during the second towards the end of this race. We did short shift, and we have actually got enough fuel left now to make our way to the end of the race. And coming out of the Curva del Sol, we are back into the slipstream range of Kirith Kart. His front tyres really did die off towards the end of the race here, so we are gaining a lot on him now through these corners. Coming out of the Desierto del Lago, still within that slipstream range, and we've actually got a good exit as we've got the gap now down to half a second going through this infill section. This is a section that our car is really strong at, and Kirith is going to struggle in his TT through here, going through La Regina. We've caught him up once more, and we are right behind him now on this final lap of the race. We've got 20 seconds remaining, so we're not going to get any more laps in. We have, although unfortunately, got 1.2 seconds of penalties now, so that is an issue. Going to the outside of Kirith now. Are we going to be able to go around the outside of him now through the hairpin? No, we are not, as Kirith gets his elbows out somewhat there, gives us a little bit of a side tap there. Going through this second to last corner now, we are ahead of Kirith, and then going into the final corner, Kirith is going to go for a bit of a lunge on us there, and he's going to give us a bit of a bump into the side. It is now a drag race up to the line, as I just checked the fuel there, make sure I'm not about to run out of fuel. We've got a drag race, and well, Kirith, you know what's going to happen. He's in the TT, I'm in the Megane Trophy. He's obviously going to win that drag race, and coming up to the line as well, we've got 1 second more of penalty than he does. So as we slam on the brakes in and come across the line, we're going to come home in P7. So that race, it didn't go well, to be honest. I didn't do anywhere near enough practice, and yeah, I was kicking myself for it, to be honest. I should have done some more practice for that race. I did regret it as the race was going on. I just didn't really know what I was doing. I had the brake bias set wrong. I had the brake bias set too far back. I realised that about halfway through the race. I should have had the brake bias further forwards. As a result, made the car difficult to drive, and yeah, I was really struggling during the course of the race. But bringing up the championship standings now, I am still in 4th place in the championship, so it's not the end of the world. When you're quite far down the order, the difference between finishing 6th and 7th is only 1 point, so it's not the end of the world that I lost out to Kirith there. There's no way I would have got in the top 5, I don't think. Even if I'd driven well, it would have been really difficult to finish in the top 5. So it's not actually the biggest issue going. We're only 1 point behind Tim Clark as well, who's in 3rd place in the championship. We're only 1 point behind him, so things are still looking good. We are 7 points ahead of Javier Gorostidi Turner as well. That's after him, Silver Shadow. We are 7 points in front of him, so that's not looking too bad for the championship standing. So moving ahead then to the next round, we're going to have Dragon Trail Seaside, and we're going to have Bathurst at night time. Dragon Trail Seaside, don't mind that circuit, and I've done a bit of practice for that already, and I quite enjoyed it, so that should go okay. But Bathurst at night time, not my cup of tea. No, not something that I like, and not something that my car's going to be good at either. So that's going to get ugly, I think, that round. Not looking forward to it too much. But anyway, hope you guys are looking forward to that video when it lands. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you all then. So, goodbye.